Yes, you can perfect your American accent in 12 months, and here's how you can do it. So whether you speak English as a first language and may not have the American accent and would like it, or English is not your first language and you would like to improve your pronunciation so that you sound like an American, here's a step-by-step plan. So I'm going to break it up into different sections, and I'm going to start with months 1 to 3. First off, before we start, let me tell you, if you want to achieve your goal faster and more efficiently, it's going to be important to get somebody who can help and guide you, ideally an American accent coach. It's true that you can do most of it, and in rare cases, all of it without an American accent coach, but it's going to take a lot longer. So in this video, I'm going to share with you how to do it with an American accent coach in 12 months. So months 1 to 3, most American accent coaches, or accent coaches in general, will have a 12-week program. At least people who have studied where I have studied. And if I was wanting to improve my accent as an English learner, I would go probably 1 time a week to 1 session a week with an accent coach. However, in some cases, depending on your pronunciation, if it needs a lot of work or not, if you live in an English-speaking place or not, you might need to go 2 to 3 times a week. But I'm going to use the example of 1 time per week. With these 12-week programs, it is really a focused program where we work on the most important and noticeable sounds that are stopping you from sounding like an American with a native accent. So an English speaker with an American accent. So this program will be tailored to you and your challenges, and it will be, I would say, rather intensive. And each week you'll be working on a sound. Some weeks you might be repeating the same sound, depending on how you are doing in your accent reduction journey. So the first 1 to 3 months, I would be getting a program to really start with momentum and force. Then for months 4 to 6, what I would be doing, most likely, depending on the situation and the needs, would be to be getting monthly feedback from my accent coach. And of course, something I will suggest, especially if you ever work with me, when we are doing the 12-week program, if your intention is to do this 12-month goal, then try to mention this to your accent coach just to see if they can follow up with you and work on helping you after the 12-week program, because there's different offers that different accent coaches have after this 12-week program. So it might be a good idea to find out before you start this 12-week program and before you commit to it. So months 4 to 6, we're going to assume that after the 12 weeks, you have improved a lot and you only have a few things to work on. Again, this is different for every speaker and for every learner, depending on where you are in your journey and other factors. But I would want to meet with my accent coach on a monthly basis, maybe 1 time a month. It might be 1 time every 2 weeks, depending on what your needs are. So these would be more like tune-up sessions or sessions to work on other details afterwards. Again, depending on your needs and how good your accent is, it might be every 2 weeks, it might be monthly. Or if it's really, really, really good, maybe you just want to find out every month or 2. But if your goal is to perfect it in 12 months, you might want to just make sure that you are actively and intentionally getting feedback and working on your accent. Again, it's possible that not all accent coaches offer this. I personally allow my students who have already taken my 12-week program to have tune-up sessions from time to time when they feel like they need it, if they want it. But again, it looks different depending on what your goals are. So again, communicate that with your accent coach. So for the rest of the year, I have a plan, but I'm also going to say it will depend on how you are doing and how you are progressing and how far you are from your goal. You may or may not still be doing monthly follow-ups or sessions to fine-tune your accent. I know personally for myself, once my client reaches a point where their accent is really good, it may be difficult for me to hear and catch the mistakes or catch what is not exactly like an American accent if I am on Zoom with them, for example, when it's live. So in that case, for me personally, this may not be something that all accent coaches offer, but for me personally, once a student gets to that point, I might offer that they send me a voice recording And this will allow me to listen to the voice recording over and over so that I can really analyze which incorrect patterns are showing up in their speech and maybe catch different things that I might not have heard when we are one-on-one live, like on Zoom, for example. And if you are a client of mine and you would like to try this and I haven't offered it yet, feel free to talk to me and let me know that this might be something that interests you. This may be something that I will only offer to my 12-week clients. But feel free to talk to me about it. And for new clients, I will link my current services in the description of this video. So months 7 to 12. Again, you might be meeting with your accent coach or getting feedback on a monthly basis, maybe more often or less, maybe not at all. But ideally, you should at least be getting feedback once in a while. We are going to focus on the lingering sounds and details of your current English that does not sound American. So I would really be wanting to compare what my current accent is versus the accent that I want and looking at what the differences are so that I can focus on the sounds that I want to have to replace the bad habits or the habits from my native language that are affecting my speech to make it not sound like I'm American. And again, I talk about this in my free accent reduction framework mini course. So if you do want to know what my approach is more in detail, you can comment framework down in the description and I'll share with you how to get access to this free little framework mini course. But I will briefly explain it, and the strategy is to look at your speech and identify what is the biggest, I'm going to say, problem in your speech, in your pronunciation that makes you sound like you're not American. So identify it. Is it a sound? Is it maybe your intonation? Identify it. Just one thing, because we usually work on just one thing at a time. That's how you're really going to see the results that you want. So again, once you have identified that sound, you are going to target. You're going to target that sound with specific intentional practice of that sound daily so that you can start to get rid of that incorrect muscle memory, that incorrect pronunciation if your goal is to speak more like a native speaker. Target it daily. Pronunciation exercises are going to be important for you. Next, you are going to get feedback from a native speaker. In this case, we're going to say an accent coach that can say, yes, you have correctly targeted the sound and mastered it. Because if you continue to do targeted practice and you put a lot of work and energy into changing your pronunciation and you're not pronouncing it correctly, you are wasting your time and energy and you're not really achieving the American accent. After that, once you find out that you have correctly pronounced that sound and that you've been able to implement it into your daily speech and it is already a habit, it's a habit, you don't have to think about it too much, then you can repeat and look to identify the next sound or aspect that is stopping you from sounding American, and then continue to repeat that over and over again until you've achieved the goal of having the accent that you desire. Because again, some people want to have a perfect accent where they are mistaken for a native speaker, and some people just want to have an almost or near native accent, or just an accent where they can be understood. Something I want to tell you though is that once you get to the end of your accent reduction journey, you'll see that the changes are a lot slower and it can be frustrating. So if you want to learn more about that and you wonder why your pronunciation is not improving anymore, this might be why. So click here and watch this video to find out why, because you will probably come to this point as you improve your accent. Take care and bye-bye.